Morning, everybody. Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with Dallas Tour. Hope you all had a good Christmas. Week 16, we went 9-7 on the picks for week 16, and now we bring on the week 17 picks. Dallas, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. I hope everybody had a good Christmas yesterday.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of us Seahawks fans definitely had a good Christmas after what we watched last night, which we'll get into that a little later. But now let's jump into it. First off, Thursday night football. We got the New York Jets going to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. The Jets barely It wasn't pretty, but they got it done barely against the Washington Commanders with a last-second 54-yard field goal from Greg Zuerlein to beat the Washington Commanders 30-28. They almost blew that game. And the Cleveland Browns yesterday, back on a Sunday, the Browns were in a little bit of a battle with the Texans. Browns pulled it off against the Houston Texans, and it wasn't even close. I thought it was close, but I didn't think it was that close. Sorry about that. I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but Amari Cooper set a Cleveland Browns record in that game. He freaking went off, putting up Madden type numbers. Amari Cooper was destroying the Houston Texans.
Yeah, he was, and they're looking pretty damn good right
Yeah,
now.
Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's playing some of the best football he's played in a long time. Regretted his age. This is probably one of the last good runs he's gonna have, but whew, man, playing the Jets. Jets barely escaped Washington. Give me the Cleveland Browns to get it done at home against the Jets. I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns to keep it rolling. Boy, this is kind of a bad last Thursday night game.
Yeah, for real, man.
It looks just like a total mismatch.
Really does.
Kevin Stefanski should be in consideration for Coach of the Year with all the injuries that Cleveland has had.
Oh yeah.
And he's managed to get them to where they are. So, give credit to him.
Major credit. All right, up next we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings to secure the NFC North, and the Dallas Cowboys, man, almost had it, but choked in the end, losing on a last-second chip shot field goal to the Miami Dolphins, 22-20. Detroit, Dan Campbell, man, they kind of do look a little suspect with their defense too, but granted, with how good Jared Goff that offense has been playing, there's a lot of questions I got about Detroit. It'll be interesting to see what they do going into the playoffs. Imagine though this, man. Imagine if the playoff game in Detroit, since Detroit's finally going to get to host a playoff game for the first time since when they had Barry Sanders when they lost to the Packers back in like 1993. Imagine, man. Just imagine. Imagine if the Lions have to face the Rams and Matthew Stafford goes back to Detroit with the Rams to take on his former team in that home playoff game in Detroit. Imagine that.
Yeah, there would be a lot of storylines in that game.
Dallas Cowboys, though, a lot of crazy storylines going on with them. They lost to the Miami Dolphins this past week, and that fumble at the on the goal line, man, that costly fumble was ultimately what came back to bite them. And now they're in major trouble because now it pretty much put Philadelphia back in first place in the NFC East. This is kind of a tough one to pick, man.
Yeah, this is a really tough one because Dallas has been really good at home this year and not so good on the road.
Yeah.
And this is Dallas's last home game of the year.
Yeah. When in doubt, I'm going with the home team. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Lions. I would love to see Detroit win this game, but I got to give the edge to Dallas here. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, this is a tough one. But I guess I'm going to go with the Cowboys as well to finish off 8-0 at home on the year. But I could easily see Detroit winning this one and getting to, I believe it would be 12-4. This is Dallas's last tough game of the year.
It is. All right. Up next, we got the Tennessee Titans going to Houston to take on the Texans. The Titans. Well, Derrick Henry had a big time game against us, and we could hardly stop him. He threw a touchdown pass. He ran it in for a touchdown, but then obviously, a lot of costly penalties for them in that game, and they lost at home to our Seahawks on Christmas Eve. And man, it was a crazy game, crazy slow start, and just man, that 3rd and 14 pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba to keep that drive alive. Granted, that was going to be a first down anyway because of the defensive holding call on the Tennessee Titans. But thank God JSN got that catch on that play, and we drove it down and scored the game-winning touchdown, 3rd and goal to Colby Parkinson. And man, we were just carving up that Titans secondary. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans got dominated by the Cleveland Browns. And we all know what happened last time, that crazy game that went to overtime where the Titans were the home team wearing the Oilers throwbacks, which definitely pissed off a bunch of the fans back in Houston because of Houston's heritage way before then. Granted, they were the Tennessee Oilers for a little bit before changing their name to the Titans once they got Nissan Stadium. But man, we all know what happened last time. That crazy overtime game, Kyrie Fairbairn kicking that game-winning field goal for the Texans to beat the Titans. Man, ooh, and I know last week, freaking Case Keenum got benched for Davis Mills in that game. So is Davis Mills going to start this game, or are they going to go back to Case Keenum in this game?
I would think CJ Stroud should be ready to go by now.
Yeah, if he's ready to go, then man, that'd be crazy. You know what? This is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans to complete the sweep of the Titans. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, give me the Texans. They have more to play for, and they're kind of in desperation mode now, falling to 8-7 last week. In that it's like a three-way tie in the AFC South between them, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Houston. They need a win more. They cannot afford to drop this one.
yeah. All right, up next, we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Chicago Bears. The Falcons, surprise, Atlanta Falcons just stuck it to the Indianapolis Colts, and the Chicago Bears obviously dominated the Arizona Cardinals with ease. Man, and Taylor Heineke was starting for the Falcons too. Bears, man, whew. Falcons, let's be real, there's no way they're winning the NFC South, especially after the games they dropped in recently, though, too.
I still don't think they'll win the AFC or NFC South.
Yeah. Ooh, give me the Chicago Bears to hand the Falcons another loss here. Give me the Bears.
Yeah, give me the Bears to kind of keep it rolling. I've liked what I've seen from them. And they still have not technically been mathematically eliminated. They have slim hopes, but I think their future is looking bright.
Yeah, but what do they want
I
to do?
think they could be maybe a surprise team in the NFC next year.
But what's going to happen with Fields next year? Are they still going to keep him around and try to still build around him? Or are they going to trade that number one? Are they going to trade him and try to get a different quarterback with the number one pick?
We'll see, but yeah, the Falcons have just been way too inconsistent this year.
Yeah. All right, up next, we got the Miami Dolphins going to Baltimore to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Miami Dolphins, hey, you didn't let us down last week. You actually beat a winning team with a winning record.
Yep.
You actually beat a good
First
team.
one of the year.
Yeah. And the Baltimore Ravens, my God, Baltimore Ravens absolutely dominated and pistol whipped the San Francisco 49ers. I gotta say, they put the fear of God in Brock Purdy with all the times they sacked him. 4 interceptions off of Purdy. Granted, they had 5 in the entire game because of when the Niners took Purdy out because of the stinger he had again. And, well, they didn't want to chance any injury to him because, they pretty much got the NFC West locked up and going to the playoffs. But, man, the Ravens exposed the 49ers. I'll tell you what, if these two teams face again in the Super Bowl, I'm going to say this. Same result. I think Baltimore would dominate them again if they meet them again in the Super Bowl. Baltimore put everyone on notice. I mean, we knew how good Baltimore was when we played them when they annihilated us 37-3. We knew about Baltimore. Baltimore is legit.
Or what they did to Detroit.
Exactly. But what Baltimore did to San Francisco, they put everyone on notice and they made an absolute statement. And the 49ers had all their starters in for most of the game when Purdy got through those interceptions. They had all their starters healthy. And then after the 4th interceptions, that was when the injuries started happening to Trent Williams and their other backup offensive linemen. And of course, the stinger to Purdy, which Purdy should probably be fine for the next week when they play the Commanders, which they got an easy cupcake with that. They can just rest starters in that too and still beat the Commanders. But man, what the Ravens did, I'll tell you what, I was easily convinced. If the Ravens somehow make the Super Bowl, I think Lamar Jackson right now, after that, is we said this could be a Super Bowl preview, but Lamar Jackson now, I think he overjumped Brock Purdy or CMC for the front runner for the MVP.
Yeah, I think he did with that performance. Man, that was just an impressive all around team win for Baltimore
Aside from the
on both
crazy,
sides.
aside from the crazy fumble, I mean, aside from the crazy safety he
Yeah,
took
that was the
earlier.
one negative, and man, their defense just smothered Brock Purdy, and man, and the 49ers were rolling.
They were,
So that was no doubt San Francisco's worst game of the year.
oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the Ravens just and Jadeveon Clowney had a game against them too. How many times did Jadeveon Clowney sack Purdy?
At least two or three.
Yeah, Baltimore, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. If I'm a 49ers fan, I'll tell you what. If they make the Super Bowl, I would be absolutely scared as hell to face the Ravens again. The Ravens fucked them up. I would be absolutely afraid of Baltimore. They put the
Yeah,
fear of God.
I would hope if the 49ers make the Super Bowl that they hope the Ravens somehow get upset in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the Ravens, they might have just exposed San Francisco because what if San Francisco also gets upset in their first playoff game going one and done? What if, you know?
It could happen, but
Yeah.
I still think, right now I still would favor San Francisco to come out of the NFC.
But if San Francisco has to face Baltimore again, oh boy,
Yeah.
the Ravens know them well. The Ravens have their number. The Ravens definitely have had their number since frickin' beating them in Super Bowl 47 with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that surprised me how well the Ravens looked, and they're clearly the best team in the league.
By far and away. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win at home against the Miami Dolphins. I know the Dolphins just beat a good team and Tyreek Hill's back for them again, but this Ravens team, after what I saw last night, I'm easily convinced they could win the Super Bowl. Give me the Ravens.
Yeah, give me the Ravens at home, and it would lock up the number one seed in the AFC for them. I think it's going to be a tough task for Miami to head up there and pull it off.
All right. Up next, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The New Orleans Saints last week freaking. Ooh, it's New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans. What happened? What happened to the Saints last week? Oh, yeah, that's right. They lost on Thursday. They got obliterated by the Rams on Thursday Night Football. Well, granted, they almost came back, but it was too little too late, though. But the Rams pretty
Yeah,
much dominated them for most part of that game. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers absolutely dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars. Heck, even knocked Trevor Lawrence out of a game with another Trevor Lawrence having another shoulder injury in a battle of Florida. The Buccaneers just dominated the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now I'll tell you what, they're in perfect position to lock up the NFC South this week.
yeah, and that's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to beat New Orleans
Yeah,
and get the sweep.
give me the Buccaneers to get the sweep in New Orleans and
New Orleans has just been another team that's been way too inconsistent.
Yeah, give me the Buccaneers to lock up the NFC South. All right. So you and me on Buccaneers, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. Up next, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. We all know what happened last time these two teams faced New England with that surprise dominating win over the Bills last time in I think in New England, and then freaking obviously Christmas Eve night, the Patriots with that surprising upset win over the Denver Broncos. They beat Russell Wilson with Bailey Zappi, and that was insane. The last second field goal to put them up. I mean, my gosh, and they were dominating Denver most part. And Denver was able to top the game, and then the Patriots just squeaked it out in the final seconds. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills, just back on freaking Christmas Eve, they freaking just took it. They took it. No, wait, that was Saturday. That was Saturday game. They were in a tough battle with the LA Chargers. I cannot believe that game was as close as it was for our lock of the week. The Buffalo Bills, though, they still managed to squeak it out.
Yeah, that was definitely an ugly win for them.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills to get revenge on the Patriots for earlier in the season. Give me Buffalo.
Yeah, give me Buffalo to get the split against New England and get revenge for blowing that game earlier in the season in Foxborough. Buffalo has way more to play for.
Yeah, they do by far and away. Then they're definitely hungry for revenge this week. All right,
Yeah.
up next we got the Arizona Cardinals going to Philly to take on the Eagles. The Cardinals got dominated by the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field, and the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday on Christmas Day. They were up on freaking New York, and I can't. And the Giants benched Tommy DeVito for Tyrod Taylor, and Tyrod Taylor almost let him back. So the Eagles had a little bit of a Christmas Day scare, but at the end of the day, they were able to pull it off and get the win. And now they're in perfect position to wrap up the NFC East. That's if
Yeah.
the Cowboys, somehow, but if the Cowboys lose and the Eagles win, if the Cowboys somehow lose to the Lions and the Eagles should beat the Cardinals with ease, and that should wrap up the NFC East for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Eagles to freaking just take it to the Arizona Cardinals. Lock of the week.
Yeah, give me the Eagles in a lock. They should dominate them. This should not be a struggle. If it is, then there's something wrong with the Eagles.
Yeah,
because they did not look good yesterday.
yeah.
They definitely took their foot off the gas in the second half, and they pretty much handed the Giants 15 points with those 2 turnovers.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got the Carolina Panthers going to Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Panthers almost came back and beat the Green Bay Packers, but ultimately fell short. And the Jacksonville Jaguars got absolutely obliterated in their Florida battle in Tampa Bay against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is the status of Trevor Lawrence in this game? Crap, I don't know, man. But Bryce Young, I mean, good effort almost leading back the Panthers against the Green Bay Packers. Granted that they ultimately fell short, though. I give them props for still fighting in that game, too. And to give the Panthers props for the way that they were able to hang in there with Green Bay.
Yeah.
Ooh. But even if it's CJ Beathard or whoever's gonna play for the Jaguars, I gotta give the edge to Jacksonville, though. Give me the Jaguars to win at home against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, give me the Jags. They are in desperation mode. Ever since they lost that Monday night game to Cincinnati, they've been in a tailspin. But they cannot afford to drop another one. So I'm gonna go with Jacksonville to end their 4-game losing streak.
All right.
This is a must win for them.
It is. All right. Up next, we got the Las Vegas Raiders going to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Raiders surprise upset win in Kansas City, beating the Kansas City Chiefs with Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback. 2 defensive touchdowns, a fumble scoop and score when the Chiefs try to get pretty and do a trick play, and then that freaking pick six. Who caught the pick six again? What was his name? For the Raiders?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either, though. Someone dropped his name in the comments, though, who had the pick six for the Raiders. But, man, I'll tell you what, the Chiefs is looking very suspect now. Indianapolis Colts got dominated by the Atlanta Falcons back on Christmas Eve, too, though. Oh, man, I was surprised, man, just the way that this season has been with some of these games, man. Some of these upset wins, man, and some of the upsets we got this week, too, man. Freaking Raiders beating the Chiefs yesterday, and then freaking Atlanta just pummeling Indianapolis.
Yeah.
The reason we went 9-7 last week was because of some of those upsets.
In New England upsetting Denver.
And of course, what the Ravens did to the freaking 49ers last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be an interesting one. I'm gonna go ahead though, and I'm gonna take the Raiders. I like them to continue that momentum up after what they did to the Chiefs. I like them going into Indianapolis and just taking it to the Colts. They got momentum on that one. I'm gonna take give me the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders as well. I like the way they've been playing lately. And who knows, maybe they'll keep Antonio Pierce around and make them their full-time coach. They're playing inspired football right now.
Yeah.
Ever since they fired McDaniels.
Yeah. All right, up next, we got the LA Rams going to MetLife Stadium to take on the Giants. The Rams just took it to New Orleans on Thursday Night Football, and the Giants heck of an effort, but ultimately falling short to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are still your big brother currently as it stands right now. And let's be real. I mean, it was a great effort, but you already put yourself in too deep of a hole, New York. And guess what? It doesn't get any easier. You're facing an LA Rams team that's still hungry for a playoff spot, and I got to lean towards the Rams coming into your house and just dominating you. Give me the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, give me the Rams. They're battling for like that final wild card spot, and I think they want it bad. Yep. There's just too much for them on the line to drop this game.
Sure. Exactly. All right, up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers going to Washington to take on the Commanders. The 49ers got dominated at home and pistol whipped and they had the fear of God put in them by the Baltimore Ravens for sure. Absolutely, Ravens ripped their soul out. And if they meet them again in Vegas, John Harbaugh, he knows. He knows how to attack Brock Purdy. He knows how to attack him now. So John Harbaugh has the Niners number ever since he beat them in that Super Bowl in Super Bowl
Yeah,
47. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders, heck of an effort to come back against the Jets, but ultimately falling short when Greg Zuerlein kicked that long 54-yard field goal to give the Jets that win. Give me the 49ers, though, to bounce back. But if they make the Super Bowl and have to face Baltimore again, then I'll tell you what, I could easily see them losing their third Super Bowl. Just saying. It'll be interesting, depending on if they get upset in the freaking playoffs, too. Just saying. Anything could
yeah.
happen.
Give me the 49ers to just roll all over Washington. Because they still have the number one seed to play for in the NFC.
Yeah, but
And I think Ron Rivera is on his way out after this year.
oh yeah, for sure. Ron Rivera is definitely getting fired after this year for the Commanders. But man, credit, like I said, credit to the Baltimore Ravens. They showed why they're the best team in the league right now.
Yeah.
If they meet San Francisco again, I could easily see Lamar doing it. All right. Up next, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. The Pittsburgh Steelers dominated the Cincinnati Bengals back on the Saturday game with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. It looks like Mason Rudolph is going to be the starter again when they take us on. And meanwhile, we went into Nashville. It wasn't pretty, but we were able to get it done on a game-winning drive, freaking hitting Colby Parkinson on 3rd and goal. I mean, DK Metcalf had a great touchdown catch too, and we were able to sack Ryan Tannehill like 4 times, and Tariq Woolen's big hit to end the game. That was a freaking crazy game, man. We'll see where we decide to put this in our top wins of the year. But man, if we want to win this game, get a lot of pressure on Mason Rudolph, sack the crap out of him, shut down the running attack, freaking you got to lock up George Pickens too. You definitely got to lock up George Pickens because man, he had a game against Cincinnati for sure. And we'll be doing a show with Yinzer Mac Sports on Saturday, so it'll be on his channel. Me and Dallas. Dallas is gonna come over here, and we're gonna go on Yinzer Max Sports show to preview this game and have a little fun talking some football. So you could tune into that on his channel. So make sure you come check us out on there. So shout out Yinzer Mac and thank you for having us on when the time comes. So we will be ready come Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks to get a win in their home finale, but I'm not taking the Steelers lightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Seahawks as well, and
We gotta play it. We're gonna have to be on our A
we
game.
better be on our A game. And I'll tell you what, Draymond Jones and our pass rush, we better freaking bring it just like we did. And Leonard Williams played another solid game in that game too, having the first sack of that game on Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
But I'll tell you what, felt good to finally get some revenge for 2017 and 2021 though.
yeah,
That revenge felt good. That was a good Christmas gift for us.
yeah. It was.
All right. Up next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals got obliterated by the Pittsburgh Steelers at home on Saturday. And meanwhile, the Chiefs fell ugly to well, granted, they were able to make it a little closer, but they ultimately fell short to the Las Vegas Raiders on Christmas Day yesterday. Surprise, surprise, man. Ooh, man. Jake Browning in there he just didn't look good at all, man. And ooh, I think they're finally starting to get that reality check. Granted, they still got some of their weapons, but ooh, this one is, man, they're gonna be in Kansas City. I mean, Chiefs, they're gonna be so pissed about dropping that game to the Raiders. I gotta favor the Kansas City Chiefs in this AFC Championship rematch. But if the Bengals win with Jake Brown, that would be crazy. But the Chiefs definitely are not the same team that we're used to seeing them be, though. That's for sure.
No, they're not.
Well,
I gotta go with Kansas City as well. Uh, they're kind of desperate for a win right now. They're just not clicking on all cylinders right now.
yeah,
They look nothing like a defending Super Bowl champion.
nah, by far and away.
Yeah, I think the injuries are finally just starting to catch up to Cincinnati. Pittsburgh dealt them a big blow to their playoff chances last week. And I think the Chiefs are going to deliver probably the knockout blow to their wild card hopes.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got the LA Chargers going to Denver to take on the Broncos. Both these teams, great efforts, ultimately falling short. Chargers falling short, giving the Buffalo Bills a scare at home in LA, losing to the Bills, and Denver Broncos fighting back against the New England Patriots, but letting Zappy drive them down the field for a game-winning field to set up the Patriots for a last-second game-winning field goal. Games in Denver this time around. Give me the Broncos to complete the sweep of the Chargers.
Yeah, give me the Broncos to complete the sweep and bounce back from that inexcusable loss to New England that was dealt a pretty big blow to their wild card hopes. I don't know how they lost that one.
Yep.
But I expect them to get the sweep of the Chargers.
Yeah.
Keep their slim playoff hopes alive.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. All right, and last but not least, Sunday Night Football. We got the Green Bay Packers going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Packers barely squeaking it out against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina, and the Minnesota Vikings falling to the Detroit Lions with Nick Mullins as the Vikings quarterback. The Lions winning the NFC South for the first time in over 30 years. Big congrats, like I said. Congratulations to Detroit, man. They're gonna host a playoff game for the first time since the old Silverdome days where Barry Sanders was in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, big congrats to Detroit on that one too. But Minnesota freaking got carved up by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, and we knew the Lions was gonna freaking win it right there, man. Did the line and that was a sweep for the Lions too, right?
No, that was the first time they played.
Oh yeah, never mind. So they have never mind. Why I think they was because being
They
so
played
late.
really late this year. They play each other next week in week 18.
Hey, what if the Lions somehow, I mean, not saying anything, but what if the Lions somehow, if the 49ers somehow choke and the Lions somehow take the 1 seed? That'd be
I think
crazy.
it's still possible for them.
Yeah. But Packers
Probably
taking
not
on
likely
yeah, not
with
like
San Francisco's schedule.
yeah, Packers taking on Minnesota. This should be a good game. We can only hope it's a good game for Sunday Night Football. Nick Mullins versus Jordan Love. Nick Mullins has more experience as a starter than Jordan Love, back from his time with San Francisco, but ooh, give me the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Packers here in this one. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. Dallas?
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually gonna go with Green Bay.
Ooh, one more split?
Yeah, I just favor Jordan Love a little bit more.
All right.
And I think the Kirk Cousins injury is finally taking a toll on Minnesota.
Granted, they still have some weapons. I mean, freaking Nick Mullins threw up a heck of a touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson.
So I think Green Bay will get the split because they remember they lost to them earlier in the year in Green Bay. I think that was the game that Kirk Cousins got hurt for the
Oh
year.
yeah, that was the game where Kirk Cousins got hurt. That was, yeah, the game
I
in
just
Lambeau Field.
favor Jordan. I mean, Jordan Love's playing pretty good right now. I just favor them a little bit more than Minnesota.
He
I
is.
could be wrong, obviously. It's a division game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one too, because obviously we know Green Bay's not even close to being a playoff team too.
I mean, I'm pretty much the loser of this game is eliminated from making the playoffs. I would imagine.
All right, a last split of the year. Let's see how that goes. Maybe I can even it up this week, or maybe Dallas will be 4-2 in the splits. But all right, there you have it. So those are our picks. We got Browns over Jets, Cowboys over Lions, Texans over Titans, Bears over Falcons, Ravens over Dolphins, Buccaneers over Saints, Bills over Patriots, Eagles over Cardinals with our lock. Jags over Panthers, Raiders over Colts, Rams over Giants, 49ers over Commanders, Seahawks over Steelers, Chiefs over Bengals, Broncos over Chargers. Dallas took the Packers, I took the Vikings. All right. So drop your picks down in the comments below, and we will catch y'all next time. If you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. And as always, go Seahawks.